Welcome to the Evening Review. My name is Sohana, and joining us in studio is the Secretary General of the Popular Democratic Movement, also known as the PDM. Before we go into that interview, we'll go into a short break. Welcome to the Evening Review.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Khone, and good evening, Namibia.
This week you announced that the party would be going into a conference of some sort. Just sort of now to explain, what is necessitated this policy review or of the conference and so on that is being planned by the PDM.
Yes, thank you very much. The party is going to have a review and policy conference from the 18th to the 22nd of October in Otjiwarongo at the Out of Africa Lodge. Now, I want to start with the policy part of the conference. Mm-hmm. What we have decided is that the party should start to look at its policy positions. Policy positions on political issues, social issues. It's very important for the party to speak as one. What are we saying when we talk about land, housing? What are we saying when we talk about education, health, and many other important positions that the party have to take as a policy? And that is what we are going to look at. We are going to look at 7 different positions, policy positions. And then also the party is going to review its performance from the 2019 and 2020 elections to just see what was our successes, our challenges, and then the way forward. Out of the review, we are going to come up with the 2021 to 2025 strategic plan of the party.
Speaking of now the performance of the PDM in 2019 and 2020, if one looks at the national and presidential elections, your party did quite well to get the number of seats that it has gotten. But now we're moving into a new election cycle in the next 2 to 3 years. You would not have the Tula factor that many believe or many think assisted the party in gaining those seats. How do you build that momentum now going forward?
Thank you very much. I have to say the following, that the PDM between the year 2015 and 2019, we have performed quite well. We have 5 members of parliament who really address issues of bread and butter in the National Assembly. We had a lot of outreaches with different stakeholders from the different sectors of our society to inform the Namibians that we are the alternative movement, to inform Namibians what we stand for, what we want and will deliver if we take over government. And that's why we have above 100% increment of seats, about 300%, is because of that. Now, it's true that some people in some sectors saying, no, it's because of the mercy of the people that were voting Dr. Itula as a presidential candidate.
Yes.
Now, as you know, there were a lot of political players. We were many parties on the list for the National Assembly elections. And I do believe that people, when they were not seeing to vote, for example, the ruling party or any other party, they saw PDM as an alternative and they voted PDM. And I still believe that people voted for us because they see us as an alternative. They have a choice to vote any other party or movement that were on the ballot papers, but they chose us for the PDM. So that's what I believe. And also, now that we have 16 members of parliament, 2 members at the National Council, and our foot soldiers, we believe that we have upped our game. Mm-hmm. We have introduced some motions. We introduced some, asked some critical questions in Parliament. Our members were very vocal. You can also remember the youngest parliamentarian tackled the issue of youth unemployment that have taken a standard stage in the country now. As you heard yesterday's or today's newspaper, the Prime Minister is saying that their government is going to address the issue of youth unemployment. So there are issues that we are addressing, issues of bread and butter. And if we keep that and also keep our ground ready and come up with a policy position that will speak to the minds and aspirations of Namibians, we believe that the party will do much better come 2024. But also I have to say that we have already, since 2014, started to have talks of coalitions. We believe that as a movement, we are the second biggest party in the country. We are the official opposition, and we are also recruiting members on a daily basis. But still, we believe that if you learn from examples of countries such as Kenya, countries such as Zambia recently, and so forth, there is the issue of coalitions. And we say that we will not go into these elections just selfish, because we should be selfless. It's not about PDM. It's not about the leadership of PDM. It's about Namibians and their welfare, Namibians to have good governance. And we also will prepare ourselves as a movement to go into these elections, but we are also having the other arm of starting talking to other political players in this country, especially the opposition front, to say, what if we have a possibility to go into this election as coalition partners and make sure that we win governance and change the status quo of Namibian government, Namibia, change the lives of Namibian people. So yes, we are prepared as a movement, and we are also ready for coalition with whoever seeing the needs of Namibians as important than our own personal needs. Yes.
On the issue of coalitions, and I'm happy you touched on it. We've seen now you're in a coalition agreement with regards to the city of Windhoek. And there were teething problems where the coalition agreement was not signed. You have one of your coalition partners withdrawing members and then putting them back in, or restraining members and then putting them back in again. And if an observer were to look at this and say, but you're in a coalition, but this coalition is not being managed to expectations. It's not being managed in line with the mandate that we had given you. If this is happening now at a city level, what about at a national level?
Thank you very much. I think one thing that Namibians first have to understand is that PDM, when we talk about coalition, I said we talk about 2014 already. The President, Honorable Mekandi Vanani, led a delegation to Kenya to see how coalition is working in Kenya, where some oppositions were. And then in the 2019 elections, we also get into a coalition with the United People's Movement, the UPM, and also that coalition is working up to now. They are in Parliament on the ticket of the PDM, and it's working. We have a very good and healthy coalition. We also, in the 2020 elections, for the Rehoboth Local Authority and the 3 constituencies in the Rehoboth, we went in coalition with also the UPM. On the local authority, our members went on the ticket of the not LPM, UPM, on the ticket of UPM, and it's working. We have one member there that is a member of the UPM, and we still have a very good and healthy relationship. Now you talk about the city of Windhoek. City of Windhoek, it's a complex issue. We have a city that was run for 30 years without proper accountability. We have a city where a lot of corruption issues have happened. I believe that you have followed the issue of the city, the head of the city police. You have followed issues that are happening with some of the strategic executives that have issues in the city. I hope you have learned that the former CEO also resigned and have many reasons why he resigned. So now you take a city that is a center stage of the country, which is a metropolitan city that everyone want to have hands on, and you are going to a coalition. And you're going to a coalition with people, parties with different ideologies, parties that have different manifestos, agendas, and also aspirations or a vision that they had for the city. And you have to bring these 3 role players together, and now they have to give direction to the city. You have some challenges. One of the challenges is that they have to clean the mess that they find on the table. Very, very important. Because you have also councillors that come into the city, and then you have some staff members, senior staff members in the city that also know what they want and what they don't want. You have some people who were CSEs in the city that are also part of the councillors of the coalition that also have their own agendas. Many things happened. But I have to tell you that the last 9 to 10 months was really to strengthen your coalition, and then also very importantly to try and clean what is happening. I hope you read that there are some mixed feelings about even the appointing of the new CEO and so on. I don't want to go into the city internal matters, and that is some of the challenges that we have. But yes, with all those challenges, we managed now to sign the coalition agreement. The day before yesterday, that was on Monday, we had a meeting to iron out the bit of misunderstanding that came from this whole issue of appointing of a new CEO, the filling of the current acting CEO and so forth. As principles of the coalition, we have agreed on certain issues. We have put some remedies on how to handle issues, that we are going to have regular meetings and iron out issues and allow the city to be managed better. But also we have councillors that have a common vision of delivering basic services such as housing or land and so forth, and they are ready for that. And I do believe that if the new CEO come very fast, it will help to accelerate the process. But also with the current leadership, if everyone works together, we can become much better. But you also have to know that when you take this role of a city that have so many questions, so many issues that did not went right, and now you say that we are going to come and we want to do things right, there will also be sabotage. There will also be interested parties that think now, let them prove to us. But all I want to say, I want to make Namibians to rest assured that for the 10th month or the 9th month, we're trying really to get our house in order. We are trying to get the city itself internally in order, and we are ready to deliver. And I'm quite hopeful that the coalition partners will deliver. It's just 6-9 months, and I'm also have a very confidence in this coalition, and Namibians will get services in these 5 years that they did not experience and enjoy in the last 30 years in this country.
There's an issue, and I will link it to the PDM in my question. But there's an issue where the ruling party, SWAPO, is always held to account. SWAPO is not doing this, SWAPO is not doing that. But now, I want to bring it back to the PDM with regards to the list that was supposed to go to Parliament of elected representatives. Now you find that this list is not being adhered to. You are on the one side always bashing the ruling party, but it would appear that you are also not keeping your end of the bargain up in terms of accountability. What do you say to that?
Great. You have to know that we are an organization, and any organization has its rules and regulations. It has its Bible that we call the Constitution. And whatever we do as a movement is based on what our Constitution is saying. Now, the PDM Constitution is very clear that when there is any elections, the Central Committee, which is the second biggest authority body in the party, because you have the Congress and then you have Central Committee, the NEC and so forth, have to sit. Central Committee have to sit and call what they say an election port, sit and elect members that are going to represent the movement in the National Assembly. Now, in 2019, the PDM have said it has if I'm right, in June or September, we have our Congress, not our Congress, our Central Committee meeting, where members of the Central Committee, members of the National Assembly candidates were elected. So we have our candidates. 3 weeks before the national elections, the ECN have informed PDM that no, we have now find out that there is a rule that says public office bearers cannot be candidates to the National Assembly list. If they want to be candidates to the National Assembly list, they have to resign from Parliament, from their government work as civil servants. And they say, and one of the reasons used was now because you cannot be paid or being on 2 tickets the same time as a civil servant and then also to be elected as a public office bearer.
Yes.
And then we inform the ECN that is very, very unfair, because in Namibia, members of parliament are elected on a party list, meaning the party convey a meeting and elect suitable candidates to represent it on the National Assembly list. And I wrote a letter to the ECN to inform them that it's unfortunately what you are saying is not allowed, because the norm was that we elect the members, and it's not like in the local authority elections where I can keep my job and still be a local authority councillor. When it comes to National Assembly, if a member is successful, you resign from your public office, as a civil servant, and take the other job as a public office bearer.
Yes.
And we say that is not going to work. And then you are also telling us this 3 weeks before an election. Our members, as per the mandate of the party constitution, have said and decided, what are you doing? We had a back and forth communication for a very long time. And this is very risky. You have people that are from the judiciary. We have people who were HODs within the Ministry of Education. And these people have now to resign from their jobs to become a candidate. And the question was, what if this person is not successful? Because life will not stop after me being elected or not. And we say this will not happen. This is not the best thing. The ECN have to keep the norms that they were doing all the time, and then continue to allow our people to stand as candidates. They say no. And we say, okay, we want to be say that we allow you to do what we want, but we will not be held accountable. We are under prejudice. Whatever you do is not at the best. It's not our choice. It's the ECN choice. So at the end, our members were removed. Those that are government employees who could not resign was removed from the list. We wrote again to ECN and say, you remove our members, but this is against us. It's not what we want. And then they pushed the list up. They did not ask us. We didn't say push this one to become number 1, number 2, number 3. After the elections, when we got the 16 seats, I write again to ECN and says, but we have also in the Constitution, if I'm right, I think the Article 76 or so, where it says that after elections, the parties have to confirm their representatives in the National Assembly. So what ECN will do after any elections, they will send you the name of the gazetted, before the gazette, they send you the name of those that were on the list number 1 to number what, and say this is the list, now you must confirm these members. At that juncture, we inform ECN that no, this list is not what we are supporting. Our constitution is saying this, and our members have elected the right suitable candidates of our choice. We are not happy for ECN to take this decision on our behalf. And we have also on the constitution that says the parties can confirm members after elections. Hence, here is our original list, and we want to keep to our original list that was brought together at the Central Committee election meeting. ECN consulted its legal team, get advice from their legal team, and 2 of senior advocates of the ECN give their opinion, and they said, no, actually, as we are looking at the Constitution and as we are looking at the Local Authority Act, PDM is allowed to keep its original list that they have come from the Central Committee. At that advice, and then ECN write us an official letter to say, yes, we sought opinion from our legal counsel, and they say that they think that you are right, you can keep to your original list. That's how this list come in. And only after that, it's when some of the members that were on the ECN list that they elevated themselves to number 1 and whatever, after removing the 6 members, they take the party to court. So it's not like we were sitting and we were cheating on the system, or we were cheating on our own members. It was the making of the ECN. We were following the protocols, we were communicating, and the last legal opinion allowed us to keep our original list. Now, I have also to tell you that when you do a list in a party like the PDM, you look at who are those members, what qualities does they have, what will they contribute in the National Assembly, which constituencies do they represent? Because we are a national party. We are not from a specific tribe or specific region or a specific constituency. We are a national movement. And our list, if you look at our list, it represents Namibians from all walks of life, from the different regions. And I know one of the criticism was that, yes, now Honorable Venani does not want other people to be on the list. He wants his father to be on the list. And I was laughing at that. I said, but the father is in that list that was not gazetted, the list that ECN allowed to go through on our contestation. And also, if we have allowed that list to go through, regions such as Kavango, Zambezi, Kunene and so forth could not have been represented in the National Assembly. So we believe that we are doing right. We are following the laws of this country, and that's it.
Thank you very much for making the time to come. Yes. Thank you for tuning into the Evening Review. Good night.
Strike it gold and win 5,000 Namibian dollars in cash with Neo Paints. Simply buy Neo Paints products from the selected range and stand a chance to get one of 12 mystery buckets filled with gold paint. All 12 winners will each get 3 extra paint buckets equal to their purchase. One to replace the gold paint, the second to use on your project, and the third to give to a charity of their choice. One winner can score another 10,000 Namibian dollars by showing us your creative use of the golden paint. The best project wins the cash. Offer is valid from 27 September to 18 December at your favorite hardware store nationwide. Visit us at neopaints.com for more competition details and follow us on Facebook for weekly competition updates. Neo Paints, a coat of excellence.
Everything's gonna be alright. Don't you worry.